Black sheep, roll call. You ever felt like the black sheep in the family? Like you don't fit in, you don't belong. But you know what happens when we believe we're the black sheep of the family? We turn ourselves into the outcast. We separate ourselves during family functions. Sometimes we won't even go to a family function because we believe that we're not actually invited and they really don't want us there when that's not the truth. Sometimes it totally is the truth. But sometimes it's because we act a certain way that makes people not really want us around. We create this narrative in our head that we're not good enough. And then we do things to push people away. And sometimes we do those things on purpose, just to prove that we're the black sheep. When we believe that we are the black sheep, we act like the black sheep. Did we ever consider that maybe the word different isn't a bad thing? Maybe we're not different. Maybe we're unique. Maybe we feel like we don't fit in because we're not meant to fit into a square box. We're meant to break the mold. And we're meant to stand out. And we're meant to pave the way because we have different experiences than other people. Stop calling yourself the black sheep. Stop telling yourself that being different is a bad thing. Stop trying to fit yourself into a box. Because at the end of the day, you're not a black sheep. You're a fucking unicorn.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Once you get over your anxiety of how you're perceived, you're going to piss some people off. People who care so deeply about how they're perceived from an outsider lens, you are going to piss them off if you do not care. One, they're going to be pissed off because you're not being a sheep in the herd, and that makes them feel uncomfortable. And two, because they're just simply not going to understand you. People who are like severe conformists that care so much about how they're perceived will never ever understand someone who doesn't give a damn. And if anything, like they will see that as a negative trait. You're powerful because you can't be controlled and because you will not submit.
Being the black sheep is really difficult because you would think that it stops at your family, but in actuality, it almost becomes like a permanent condition. You just have to learn how to live with it and to navigate the world with that. You know, when you're the black sheep of your family, you see more than others because you understand what's going on, even though people aren't talking about it. Right? You're not going off of what people say, you're going off of their energy. So if someone's trying to control you, if they're trying to manipulate you, if they're gaslighting you, you're sensitive to all of that. It's almost like you can predict people's next move before they even do it. And even though you're not judging them, right, you do have access to information, like you know something about them. And when you know something about people, they feel exposed by you, even though you haven't said anything, even though you haven't judged them, they feel exposed by you. And as a result of that, they make you feel disliked. You know, the closest example I can use to describe what it feels like to be a black sheep, and I think you're gonna relate to this, is if you've ever dated someone that you really liked. This has happened to me. And it didn't matter how much you tried to ingratiate yourself into their group of friends. You felt like their group of friends just didn't approve of you. They didn't like you. You could sense it, you know? And you've done nothing wrong. It's just that you observe what's going on. And maybe as a result of that, some of the people in the group feel like you're killing their vibe or that you know something about them. And then they make you feel unwelcome. This has happened to me in the past. So that's sort of like the quality that you have when you're a black sheep, is you can sense like the world doesn't like you or it doesn't want you, and you feel like you don't belong anywhere. So it's not an easy path at all, but you have to make sure that you stay true to yourself no matter what. You have to keep believing in your dreams because a lot of people are going to be jealous of you. A lot of people are going to talk behind your back. You have to stay true to what you believe is possible. Okay, this is how you're going to achieve your dreams. And then try to the best of your ability to find people who are more like you. People who will support you, even if you get reactive. People who will hold you accountable and vice versa. You're not afraid to go deep with them. You're not afraid to yell if you need to yell, but you're both focused on love and deepening that relationship. You need to surround yourself with people who get you, people who understand your heart, your intentions, even if it might come out wrong sometimes. It still comes out wrong for me. But you need to surround yourself with people who really get you. I love you.
Why is it so hard for family members to mind their business? Why is it so hard for family members to not gossip about you behind your back to other family members? That's what I want to know. As if it's not already hard enough in this world to find yourself, embrace yourself, and live in your truth. That's a journey all in itself. No one wants to be around family members that they know speak negatively about them. So the next time you're asking a family member why they're not around, why they don't come to certain gatherings, ask yourself, are you a part of that group that are negatively impacting their lives? Ask yourself that.
I'm gonna be so upset with you because you cut them off once you're grown. Okay, they be so mad with you because you don't want to have nothing to do with them. You want to bring your kids around. You want to do anything. You distance yourself, but they don't take any accountability for why you're acting like that. Why you feel like that? Why do I have such a big burden on my damn heart? I don't forgave you, but I don't want nothing to do with you. Why? Because I don't want to deal with your generational curses anymore. Because I don't want to deal with the fucking trauma that you've caused on me. But because I've healed from the trauma, doesn't mean I want to put me or my kids back through that trauma. But because I know that if I come around you, any little thing that you say or do to me will hinder me from progressing in life. I know how I am, and I know how I get, and I know how you raised me. You raised me to be brought up in a shell, to be in this little. Every time I go through something, I go and hide because I don't know how to deal with my fucking emotions. Because you didn't teach me how to deal with my emotions, but you taught me. You taught me that how to be a drama queen, how to keep up shit, and how not to be a good person. But because I'm trying to change my lifestyle and trying to make a better me for me and my kids, I think I'm better. Story time on how I feel or what my mother's husband said to me. He told me one day, basically, in so many words, he's putting me and his kids up against each other because all my mama kids and his kids all together, that's a total of 6 of us. I mean, I'm the oldest. I don't know how many of us it is, but I'm the oldest, okay? And I've been going through a lot. Eviction back in 2021 around COVID time, and now I'm having a hard time finding a place for myself and my kids. But we sleep. We got a place to sleep. We stay with my grandma. And with the eviction, or what comes back credit, and bad credit comes not being able to get a car and my name. So it's a lot of things that follow behind it. So yes, I'm struggling right now. But little do they know that I'm trying to make a better life for myself with content creating and on my job and my career and stuff like that. But because they don't know that, they have so much negative shit to say about me. And when I find out the shit, y'all, it hinders me back. First thing that comes out his mouth is, well, T don't got no house, no apartment, no nothing in her name, and she had all those kids and don't have shit they'll show, and like stuff like that. But they don't know what I'm doing. They don't see what I do. But this shit hold me back, y'all. This shit hold me back. One day he told me, take you and your kids, pack your shit and leave my house. But his kids are more than welcome to come. One day I got so mad one moment after he said that shit to me. I didn't talk to her for a week. Why you say? Because don't you ever allow this man to talk to me. He ain't my daddy. And I don't give a fuck if y'all married. He ain't shit to me. See, people don't realize I can become the most envious, the most nastiest person, the most cold-hearted person. And I try not to bring that side of me out, yeah, but I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to be understanding. I got to get the fuck away. If I don't get away, I will lose my mind. It's for my sanity. I keep my kids away from this shit, and I can't keep them 100% away because of the situation I'm in. But once I get the chance to get out of the situation I'm in, to buy my own house and get the hell away and make something of myself, I will not be around. For the sake of my dignity, my mental health, and my kids. I'm tired. Welcome to being a fucking boy.
When you're the black sheep, please expect to be in the center of mess, even when you don't even do anything. Even when you bother nobody, you are still going to be the center of mess. You could be minding your own business. How do I know? Bitch, I'm going through it right now. I've been no contact for over a year, and I'm telling you guys right now, I mind my business. I say to myself, and somehow, some way, everything that I do or choose what's best for me is a problem for everybody else. And you have to accept that and just walk in your purpose and really not be bothered. Now, that's easier said than done because I'm bothered. But when I mean unbothered in your actions. Reactions, you don't get it. Cuss out, don't know you. Cussing somebody out is now a luxury. If I use my words and my power on you, that's a luxury. You don't get that. Expressing issues that I have with the things that you do, you don't get that from me neither. You get dust. Absolutely nothing from me. And that's when you really master being unbothered, even when you're bothered. It's hard, but you got it.
I'm the black sheep in my family as well, and it is a strange place to be. And I don't know if you guys know, but most black families are very messy. Most black families love drama, they love rumors and gossip and just negativity overall. And I am the complete opposite of that. I love all things with positivity, progress, joy, and things like that, you know? And so I am the complete opposite of my family. And so we clash a lot on overall way of life and values in life. And overall, they try their best, their hardest to bring you into their drama, into their problems. They make their problems your problems. That is an issue. And it's just like, no, you have your problems over there, you handle your business over there. If I have problems over here and issues and things like that that I have to handle, I will handle them by myself alone. I will not bring my problems to another person to handle them for me. I'm a grown person. I handle my own business alone. And they hate that, honestly. And the main reason why they hate it is because you keep to yourself. You don't allow other people to be in your business like that. And you're a very private person. And so they hate it. They barely have any personal information on you. And they don't like that whatsoever. They don't like it at all. I'm the black sheep. But it is what it is, honestly. And at this point, I have gotten sort of used to it. So, yeah.
I was the first person in my family to basically do the opposite of everything I was told to do. I was the first to move out. I was the first to start dating outside my culture. I was the first to drop out of school. I was the first to start smoking weed. I was the first to start dressing how I wanted. And I obviously got labeled the black sheep of the family. But you know what? I don't regret any of those decisions. And you might be like, oh, that's a sign of disrespect to your parents. They sacrificed so much. They wanted to give you a good upbringing, which is true. My parents did do all of that, and I don't discredit them for any other sacrifices or anything they did to try to improve my quality of life. But what I do disagree with is treating your adult child like a child, but expecting them to think and act like an adult. I don't agree with that at all. And I want to make it clear that I didn't do any of this until I was 19. Like, from the moment I was born until I was 19 years old, I did everything my parents wanted me to do. I was also raised in a very religious family, and religion was used to control me. And I realized that once I turned 19, and I was like, you know what? I can't stay here anymore. I love my parents. I got mad respect for them because they uprooted their whole lives, moved to Canada, started from scratch. That's not an easy thing to do. But those sacrifices were all for nothing if I don't take advantage of them, if I don't go out into the world and find out who I am and what I want to do and how I want to express myself and how I want to live my life. And they take so much offense to it to this day because they see it as a sign of disrespect, but they still haven't realized that it's not about whether or not I respect you, it's about whether or not I'm happy. And I was not happy as a child because, like I said, I was doing everything my parents wanted me to do. So once I became an adult, I decided my happiness matters more, and I started doing what I wanted to do. And a lot of people don't reach this point until they're like 50, and they realize that they've been doing everything their parents have wanted them to do, but they're so miserable. And their parents are still not happy because there's always going to be something that you're not doing right when you're living your life according to what someone else wants you to do instead of what you want to do. I don't expect anyone to disrespect their parents or to blatantly disregard the advice that their parents give them, because a lot of the time they do have our best interests at heart, and I can admit that. But eventually, there might be a point where your parents can no longer tell you what to do. Either, God forbid, they get an illness or they pass away. And now what? Now you're a grown adult, fully incapable of making any decision because you've always been doing what someone else wants you to do. For me personally, that's not something I ever wanted to experience. So I started exercising my free will as soon as I became a legal adult. And you know what? They could call you all sorts of names. They could call you the black sheep. They could say you're not a great child. They could say you're disrespectful. They could say you don't love them. But at the end of the day, if you're happy, that is all that matters. You could still love your parents from a distance. You could still respect your parents from a distance. You don't have to be stuck to them like glue to show them that you love them and that you respect them and that you hear their advice. But you do eventually have to put your foot down and say, actually, you don't know what's best for me because you're not me. You birthed me, but you're not me.
a quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
I was just thinking about this, but being or going through the phase of being the black sheep of the family is such a powerful transition to become a badass, because you're so intimately familiar with rejection, especially from the people who are supposed to love you for you, right? It makes you a badass because, like, if you can accept that you are not your family's cup of tea, that they don't really like you, and you just accepted that and accepted yourself for who you are, it frees you up to just allow rejection from others. I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but it's like, if my family can reject me and I'm okay with it, what makes you think that I give a fuck about you, stranger? About what you think about me?
I'm gonna record this and I'll post it in a few days, but being the black sheep and the cycle breaker in your lineage is not easy. And you are saying and feeling the things that nobody else has been able to face and feel. And that can feel like such a heavy weight at times. And it can be disheartening when the people in your family will try to silence you and shame you and use words like, oh, que dirán la gente? Because those statements are very invalidating. It's like, why the fuck do you care about what people are going to say more than how I feel? Like, it's invalidating to my experience and my emotions and what I'm going through. And right now I need you to love me and support me and be by my side. Not fucking worry about what people around me are going to say. And I think this is really fucking common in our culture. And if you know me, you know that I am the opposite of that. I will literally speak my truth no matter what the fuck people around me say, think, or do. And I trigger the fuck out of people when I go to Mexico, to the rancho, because I live so freely and I do whatever the fuck I want and I'm liberated. And I try to instill these values into all of the women in my life, that we shouldn't shrink ourselves, be silent, and carry all this weight just to keep the peace around us, the peace of everyone around us except for ourselves. And like, I'm strong and I don't let shit get to me, but there's moments where obviously your family knows you best and they know how to push your buttons. And that's why they say that if you think you're enlightened, go hang out with your immediate family and you realize how much work you have yet to do. And so when people try to take jabs at me, I like to center myself in my inner peace and remember and stay grounded that what they're doing towards me has nothing to do with me. They're just projecting their own pain onto me. And I can have that higher awareness and also be fucking hood Selena and have anger and resentment and all the emotions. And I remove myself and I don't extend my energy to certain people because I don't deserve to be people's punching bag anymore. I'm sorry, but we all have a fucking sad story and we all should be showing up for our work. And I'm not going to be around people that don't respect me and treat me right. Doesn't matter if you're fucking related to me. Doesn't matter how much I love you. I don't tolerate that anymore. And that's why I left Oregon. I'm on a whole other level and I have high standards for myself and the people that I share my time and energy with and the people I let into my life.
One thing I could say about walking this spiritual journey and being on this unorthodox mission is that you spend a lot of time alone. You know, you're typically never picked or invited anywhere, whether it's an individual setting or a group setting. Like, you're typically the last person to come to people's mind when it comes to activities, if at all. It's like I'm the popular loner. It's like everybody knows me, but no one ever takes the time to actually know me or notice me. It's like I'm the person that everybody knows, but society hasn't approved of my character, so everybody's just waiting for the green light and waiting for society to tell them, oh, it's okay to associate yourself with Lim. It's almost as if the world or the universe is in on the joke and you're the only one that didn't get the invite. Like, I could wholeheartedly say 90% of my conversations just ends with me being blank, or just ends with me with not knowing what to say. Because I know if I were to speak on these things and I were to explain my situation or my journey, that most people would just chalk it up to something mundane, something with having to do with work, something to have to do with conventional trauma. And it's not to say they're wrong, it's just I find myself not being able to fully articulate who I am and where I'm going, what my mission is as a person, because it is this path I'm taking. And it happens in the most subtle ways. Like, everybody will go around and play their favorite song, but for whatever reason, whenever it gets to my turn, all of a sudden everyone's getting phone calls, someone's coming in the room to interrupt, some people have to leave. Or we could be having a conversation and everybody's putting their 2 cents in, and then all of a sudden when I put my 2 cents in, the bank is full. People all of a sudden, they don't know how to like allow you to speak. They're cutting you off, you know, all of a sudden they want to change the topic. And I've noticed, like, people don't even consciously do this most of the time. It's just like a spirit or energy that kind of takes over and allows me to kind of sit back in the shadows. Or it'll be a situation where no one gives you grace. It'll be a situation where a nigga eat with his mouth open and got food flying everywhere. Everybody will give him a pass. Oh, he's just like that. He just gets excited when he eats. But let you breathe out the wrong nostril, they looking at you like Joseph Stalin. So ultimately, in a sense, my energy gets like overlooked, or it gets suppressed, or it gets ignored through like this subconscious filter, whether people realize it or not. But most of the time, it's like people don't even realize these things. It's like the universe is doing this to me. And I say all that to say, what if the universe is postponing or delaying, you know, intimate relationships coming into your life because there's a certain group of individuals that you're supposed to share those moments with? What if the universe has you hiding in plain sight, just so all the people who overlooked you or didn't pay you no attention, you would be center stage and right in their face when your time does come to share who you are and share your gifts? Because what if you were allowed into these spaces, you never felt what it was like to be the black sheep, and therefore you would have never experienced this journey. You would have never came into the knowledge that you came into. You would have never been comfortable cultivating your sense of being alone and having autonomy. Because if you resonate with this message, there's more than likely that you have a very special path and a very special message that common folk, common situations don't require. And I'm not talking about people who are necessarily socially awkward or have social anxiety, so they hide themselves. I'm talking about the people who don't have an issue expressing themselves and what they're into. It's just that society, people, the universe, whatever the case may be, they don't give you the space to do that. So it kind of forces you to become a shell of yourself. So therefore, the universe had to let you experience what it's like to be an outcast, experience what it's like to not be on the first person on people's mind when a situation comes up, to experience what it's like to be ostracized or not to be heard within your own situation. Because your mission is just that much greater. Or maybe I'm just talking. Because one thing I can say, anything that's valuable, anything that can withstand the test of time and that'll last, will be extremely hard to come by.
This may seem controversial, but this may be your sign that you need to distance yourself or walk away from your family. Now, a lot more people have been awakening and realizing that they are, in fact, the black sheep or the chosen one in their family. They are the scapegoats. They are the ones that got away. You hold a heavy ass weight because you are the one that came into this family in order to break those cycles or generational curses, as you want to call them. You realize that being the person that you are, you realize that you are always very different. You are always very compassionate, empathic, very intuitive. You are always very different. You operated and thought different. You realize your entire family, all your life was dysfunctional, and they're still dysfunctional. I want to remind you, it is not your job or responsibility to wake them up. It is not your job or responsibility to heal them. The only job and responsibility that you have is to focus on yourself and make sure that you are breaking the cycle so you don't continue it with your family.
And if you are the black sheep in your family, you are the person that is different than everybody else. You are the one that will make it in your family. You are the one that think outside of the box and try various things. You are the one that go above and beyond. You are the one that will break generational curses and step out of your family and leave, stay on your own, and do a lot better on your own. And get out of all of the messiness, all of the dysfunction in your family, and go out and start a new healthy bond and a new life pretty much outside of them. If you're the black sheep, you have a lot of potential, spirits, and will to live a completely different life than you grew up in.
Being the one person in your family that doesn't tolerate generational bullshit it's not for the faint of the heart. It is not for the faint of the heart. And it can be really painful because basically you see through, your family's BS and unhealed trauma, and you're personally doing as much as you can to fix your own trauma. But unless you completely go no contact with all of your family, which is so freaking hard to do, it's not easy. It's not easy being the person that doesn't tolerate the narcissism, that doesn't tolerate the gaslighting, that doesn't tolerate the disrespect. It's not fucking easy. And like, today is my birthday, and I'm trying so hard to not have any expectations when it comes to my family coming through for me in a way that makes me feel good. But it's so hard. It's so hard because it does make me sad. Like, I understand it on a logical level that these people will never be able to show up for me the way I need them to, but it also makes me sad. Like, there's a part of me that's still sad about it. It's not for the faint of the heart.
No one talks about how lonely it is being the only one in your family to break the cycle. Like, not only are you healing yourself and learning to heal yourself, you're unlearning everything that you were taught. And the second that you start setting boundaries, you're the difficult one. You say no once, and all of a sudden they want to label you as better than everybody else. No, I just don't want to keep living in survival mode. They don't get it. They won't get it. You're seen as the rebel, the black sheep, but you're really just choosing yourself, and that's okay. You're choosing peace over people pleasing. And ultimately, it's going to feel lonely because you're making choices that no one around you has made before. But just because they don't understand your healing does not mean that it's not valid. You're not crazy. You're not selfish. You're just the one that says, this ends with me. They might not clap for you, but you're shifting generations, and that's powerful.
Family be so toxic for no reason. Let me tell you guys what happened to me while I'm traveling here in Texas visiting family. So if you know me already, I'm really healthy. I'm an herbalist. I was vegan, but I also like to enjoy food here and there when I travel. So I indulged in some barbecue and agreed with them to go get barbecue, right? But my tummy's a little sensitive, and plus it was really heavy and a lot for me to process. I'm also an empath too. But I'm here for the human experience because I'm trying to eat some barbecue, right? So I get nauseous like after a few bites in, like my feeling dizzy, like overly stimulated, like I felt like I was gonna pass out. I felt like I was gonna cry, and the sadness. And that's because, the truth is these commercial meats are not dealt with in the best way. And I expressed that to them. I was like, hey guys, like I'm not feeling good. I'm very nauseous. I'm just expressing to you guys how I feel. I think it's the food. It's making me sad. They got so pressed and they got so disappointed in me for expressing myself, and said it was annoying that I ruin everything and that I shouldn't be talking about other people's food. I'm not even vegan anymore. I was still trying to eat the food. And they basically made a whole big deal and told me that I'm the worst, and they kicked me out. They literally told me to leave and go fly back home to San Diego. And I'm like, what? Fuck this. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my trip. So I booked a little hotel in downtown and met some amazing people, because you know what, I'm like, not gonna let nope. So now I'm just here in my hotel, and it's so cute in here, but I'm just like, all of this over some damn barbecue, bro. So if you're a vegan, or if you're sensitive, or if you just got toxic family that always talk shit and can't accept you for you, just stay silent. Don't even say anything. Just walk out. Because if you express yourself, you might have to book yourself a hotel on out of there and fly back home on your own.
Don't feel bad for being the black sheep in your family. Like, a lot of our families like to act like there's nothing wrong, you know what I'm saying, when there's a lot wrong, and someone has to get up and speak up and cry and like be the representative of like the pain. I just feel like a lot of our generation was put here to deal with the emotional pain. And I want to add too, like, and we all deal with our pain differently, but there's a way to express the emotions and work through these emotions without literally making ourselves go crazy in the process. But it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta lose your mind just to find your peace of mind. Amen to Janae. But like, we can deal with the trauma and also still have strength within it. I think us Scorpio generation, millennial generation, we be so overwhelmed and overcome with our emotions that we don't stand on all 10 either. It's like, baby, like, you still got to get up and do shit. You still got to get up and make something of your life, even though we are the ones bearing the weight of the trauma, you know? Trust me, I'm just now coming to this realization, like, this year, 28. I'm about to be 29. So trust me, it's a process, and I ain't shitting on nobody's process, but no one's coming to save me. I got to save myself. So in order to save myself, I can't just be sitting down letting the weight of the world weigh me down. I gotta get up somehow. Gotta shake that shit off of me. You feel me?
You know, my whole life I've been the black sheep of the family. Since I was young, I've had this vision to be a creator. Since I was young, I've had this vision to be an entrepreneur. Since I was young, I've had this vision to be a multi-millionaire. And I know I will be. And that's my journey. When you're the black sheep of the family, you get looked at different. You isolate yourself because you feel like people, you feel like your family, you feel like your friends don't understand you. But in reality, it's not that they don't understand. It's just that you have a different purpose. You're here for a different reason. Being the black sheep is not easy. It's a hard life. But God doesn't put you through anything that you can't handle.
I heard this quote and I absolutely love it. It says, "Dare to walk alone." And I think that one of the scary things of just being unique is the fact that a lot of people seek external validation from those around them. And if you're the black sheep, you have stopped that. You don't seek that anymore. You are walking alone in your own path, and you know that you have to do things alone. And yes, it can be scary, but it's also a very beautiful thing. And the reason why it is just amazing is because you can completely leave the past behind you and walk towards the future and create a very new and very different life than you had when you were a child growing up. You have full autonomy based on the things that you want in life and not everybody else. And you stop seeking other people's approval and confirmation for your life.
I'm still not feeling good, but I wanted to respond to this because I, along with a lot of my clients, can relate to not feeling like they fit in, feeling left out, feeling like the black sheep of the family. Spiritually, the first thing that came to me as I read your comment is, if I was raised with a circus, but I'm not a clown, I'm not a circus act, I would feel left out too. You're just because it's where you grew up, it's just because it's the people that raised you, doesn't mean that's where you belong. And I think that's what makes life so beautiful, is that there's so much to discover. I found so much love, so much peace, so much harmony. I found where I belong outside of my family, and you will too. I think you just have to be willing to believe that there are other places for you that you belong. And it's hard because home is the first place where you get validated. It's the first place you get love, attention, direction, guidance, and an idea of like who you are. Your identity is first formed at home, then later, edited by school, the workplace, adult friendships and relationships, and lastly, you. But you have a lot of work to do to repair what you believe about yourself. So maybe it's about understanding that and accepting that we're not supposed to fit in with our family. And it's okay if we don't. It would be ideal if we could, right? But that would mean that it's a safe space. But a lot of us did not grow up in very safe spaces. A lot of us did not grow up in very loving spaces. I wouldn't want to fit in there. So when I think about how cold the people in my family are, I hate the cold. I go where the warmth is. I go where the love is. And I've been happier. And I've been just at peace, understanding that, we have an idea of the ideal family, what a mom's supposed to look like, what a sister, what a brother's supposed to look like. And that's beautiful. When it's made and created intentionally, we can have those things. So if I did want to have children, if I did want to build a family, I would be intentional about who I choose as my partner. I would be intentional about who I invite into that child's life as their TTs and their uncles and their godmothers and godfathers. My chosen family will be my baby's family. It's all about intention, because then we could build that ideal family picture. Because of our intentions. But the people before us were not healed. The people before us didn't have the knowledge that we have now. They didn't have the resources. They didn't have the luxury, honestly, to heal. A lot of them didn't. So I think that's another reason why I'm able to have so much, grace and acceptance towards my mom and, you know, generations before her is because I'm Haitian. I was born in Haiti. The fact that I'm living the life that I have right now is a blessing, because when I look at the impoverished state of my homeland, my God. So I can only imagine what the narrative around healing was when there was just such a much more urgent pain related to survival that was present, you know? So when I think about the generations in my family, and I'm sure a lot of Caribbean and African people can relate when I look at where, you know, my grandmother, grandfather, great-grandmother, grandfather, God rest their souls, when I look at what they had to experience and how they just really fought to survive, man, I mean, there's no judgment whatsoever, but there's just a lot of understanding, acceptance, and more importantly, not just understanding it and accepting it, but going out and getting it in the world. And you can do that in a myriad of ways. I work with a lot of my clients to help them shape the life of their dreams with intent. So if you need a session, head to link in bio, book a session. Because clearly I love this shit with a very throbbing headache. And in a fatigue state, I'm still pushing out content because this is my life's work. And I will on this hill that you deserve the life that you desire. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
Are you like me, the black sheep of your family? Then let's talk about it, because we can relate on a lot of stuff. Okay, so my mom has 4 children. So she had a boy. You already know everything. Her favorite. My sister. Then she had me, which I'm the 3rd child. So I could have been a boy, girl, whatever. It wouldn't have mattered. And then my little brother. So, you know, I'm right there stuck in the middle. I think that being a black sheep in your family is like, it's crazy. For example, I was the clean freak like my mom. So I was always the only one helping her out, like cleaning, stuff like that. But guess who will take the blame if something wasn't clean, or if there was more cleaning to do that wasn't my business to clean? Just guess who? Guess. I'm gonna stay here and wait. It will be me. And even though I will get pissed, because I'm like, yo, your other daughter just didn't do shit. Like, your son didn't do anything. And they will always justify my sister and be like, yeah, but you know, she doesn't do it. So I'm not even gonna ask her. I'm like, if you don't ask her, she would never. Or my mom would say, she doesn't do it right if she does it. You do. Bitch! Anyway, this is not saying that my family doesn't love me. My family does love me, blah, blah, blah. My mom loves me, blah, blah, blah. But she does have her favorites. And that's what I'm going to try to do better when I have kids. Make sure there are no favorites, that everybody's equal the same, because I would never, ever want one of my children to look, you feel like they're the black sheep. Bro, that's not cool. Anyway, you always take the blame. The black sheep takes the blame. But we are stronger, tougher. Mind you, I'm the one child that is always make everybody's life different. Yes, I live in the US, so I live it far away from home because my family's in Italy. But when I go home, I always try to make my mom's life like the best, you know, take her out, pay for grocery, her gas, like whatever it is. I always try my best. I'm the one that brings the positive vibes, energy. I'm the calmest out of all my siblings. I'm the one that literally never gives her any problem, issue, whatever. I'm the problem solving or whatever. But still, she would never take the blame. Like, for example, if I'm fighting with my sister, and even if she agrees with me, she would never fight with my sister for me. You know what I'm saying? She would never tell my sister, oh, Margarita's right, she's making sense, she's saying this and that. Like, she might agree with me later on the phone when it's just the two of us. She would just tell me, like, leave it alone, because that's what I was taught. Also being the black sheep, I was always taught to leave it alone. Like, leave it alone. You're bigger than this, you're better than that, like, forget about it, you know? So yeah, I always had to fight my own battles. Always had to, yeah, basically. And I never, mind you, like, thank God it turned out to be amazing. I never had to, you know, rebel, kind of like do anything crazy to get attention. Because this is not even the point. It's like, I did have attention, but not as much as I could have, for sure. But, you know, 4 kids is a big number. And my mom had to, you know, buckle up and take a lot of responsibilities, and also be a dad at some point, because my dad, he was there, but that's a different story. So yeah, I don't blame her, because my mom did her best that she could. Also in a generation where, you know, it was rough just growing up. I can't even imagine, you know, she was probably never even cuddled either or whatever. And she did her best that she could, because she was very loving, and she is still. But yeah, being the black sheep ain't for the weak. That's why it made me really tough. That's what probably made me like move across like the world and did it and made it and be okay. And it was probably because that I grew up being the black sheep.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.